Quantum computing has become crypto's newest bogeyman. Every time a breakthrough hits the headlines, panic spreads across social media with claims that Bitcoin is about to be cracked and your coin stolen. Influencers rush to post alarming takes, timelines fill with worst-case scenarios, and suddenly it feels like the end of crypto is right around the corner. For many people, these headlines sound technical, authoritative, and urgent, so fear spreads fast. But most of this conversation is a mess. Today, we're cutting through the noise using a recent report that separates real risks from pure fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Not just short-term price action, but the long-term survival of the technology itself. This is a video you'll want to watch closely. Quick disclaimer: I am not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video should be considered financial advice. This content is purely educational and meant to help you understand the technology, the risks, and the reality behind the headlines. With that out of the way, let's get into it. This video is based on a report from A16Z Crypto titled Quantum Computing and Blockchains: Matching Urgency to Actual Threats, written by Justin Thaler. The central takeaway is simple but extremely important. Quantum timelines are often exaggerated, and rushing into poorly planned upgrades could end up doing more harm than good. In other words, panic itself can become a bigger threat than quantum computing if decisions are made out of fear instead of evidence. The report introduces an important concept known as a cryptographically relevant quantum computer, or CRQC. This is not the experimental hardware we see in labs today or the flashy demos that make headlines. A CRQC would be a fault-tolerant, error-corrected machine capable of running large-scale algorithms that could realistically threaten modern cryptography. That's a very high bar, and it's a bar that current systems are nowhere near reaching. This is where headlines become misleading. When you hear about major qubit milestones, they are usually referring to physical qubits. These are noisy, unstable, and prone to errors, meaning they fail constantly and require heavy correction just to function. What actually matters are logical qubits, which require massive layers of error correction, extremely low error rates, and long, stable runtimes. Breaking cryptography wouldn't just require a breakthrough, it would require thousands of reliable logical qubits operating accurately for extended periods of time, all at once, without interruption. Even the most ambitious public roadmaps, including those from companies like IBM, are still focused on improving system reliability rather than attacking cryptographic systems. According to the report, fears that Bitcoin could be broken within the next 5 years are not supported by publicly available evidence. Even a 10-year timeline is considered aggressive. The more realistic outlook suggests a long runway, likely a decade or more, before this becomes a hands-on threat, assuming progress continues steadily. The report then highlights a distinction that many people overlook, but one that completely changes how we should think about this issue: the difference between encryption and digital signatures. Encryption is designed to keep information secret. Digital signatures are designed to prove authenticity. This distinction matters because of what's known as harvest now, decrypt later attacks. In this scenario, attackers store encrypted data today and wait for future quantum computers to decrypt it. That's why governments and large technology companies are already migrating to post-quantum encryption for sensitive data such as medical records, legal documents, corporate secrets, and government communications that need to remain private for decades into the future. Digital signatures, however, do not work this way. There is no hidden message inside a signature waiting to be unlocked later. The risk only begins after a powerful quantum computer actually exists. Signatures created before that point do not suddenly become unsafe retroactively, and past transactions don't magically become invalid or reversible. This is why companies like Google and Cloudflare are rolling out hybrid encryption for the web today, while blockchains face a very different and more forward-looking set of challenges. Here's the reassuring part: most blockchains are not vulnerable to harvest now attacks. Blockchains are public ledgers by design. There is no encrypted on-chain data for quantum computers to suddenly reveal or unlock years later. Nothing hidden is suddenly exposed. That said, privacy-focused protocols that rely on encrypted transaction data stored on-chain need to be far more cautious. If encrypted data lives permanently on a blockchain, it can be copied today and potentially decrypted in the future. This makes quantum preparedness far more urgent for privacy-focused systems than for transparent blockchains like Bitcoin. Overall, the report is clear. Quantum computing does not pose an existential threat to blockchains as a whole, despite how dramatic some headlines may sound. Bitcoin, however, does face specific challenges, primarily around governance and coordination. Upgrading Bitcoin is not automatic. Wallets, exchanges, miners, node operators, and users all need to move together. A transition to quantum-safe addresses would require users to manually migrate their coins, one by one. No one can do this on their behalf, and coordinating this across a global, decentralized network takes time, communication, and careful planning. The most exposed coins are those where the public key is already visible on-chain. This includes early Bitcoin outputs, reused addresses, and certain transaction formats. There is also a potential future race condition risk where a public key is briefly exposed during a transaction before it is confirmed, creating a narrow but important window of vulnerability in a quantum-enabled world. Another major issue is abandoned coins. Large amounts of Bitcoin have not moved in years due to lost keys or inactive owners. If Bitcoin upgrades its signature scheme, what happens to those coins? Should they be frozen forever, destroyed, or claimed by whoever has quantum capabilities? Each option carries serious technical, economic, and philosophical trade-offs that the network would have to confront. It's also important to clarify what quantum computers do not threaten. Bitcoin's proof-of-work system is based on hashing, where quantum computers offer only limited theoretical advantages. Even in the best-case scenario, quantum mining would likely shift who wins blocks rather than undermine Bitcoin's overall security, immutability, or decentralization. Post-quantum signatures are coming, but they are not a simple drop-in replacement. They are larger, more complex, and still relatively new. Larger signatures mean higher transaction fees, more bandwidth usage, and greater storage requirements, which could put pressure on smaller nodes and affect decentralization. Some post-quantum schemes once considered secure have already been broken, which is why careful testing and gradual adoption matter. The report's recommendations are straightforward. Take the threat seriously but do not panic. Deploy post-quantum encryption now where long-term confidentiality matters. Start planning blockchain upgrades early, especially for networks like Bitcoin where coordination is slow. And above all, prioritize implementation security, because software bugs and human error are a far more immediate threat than quantum computers today. A cryptographically relevant quantum computer in 5 years is not impossible, but it is highly unlikely. Developers are already working on solutions, standards are being tested, and incentives across the industry are aligned to adapt over time. So no, quantum computers are not about to destroy Bitcoin. There is still time, and that time matters. What do you think? Is the quantum threat overblown or underappreciated? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.